Welcome to the While My Batteries Charge podcast. Join us as we talk about all things radio controlled. And now, your host,
Folks, this man, he is the king.
Mr. CCxRC himself, Tony CC.
Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome to another While My Batteries Charge podcast. Today is going to be awesome because we have Justin Aglitas in here with us. You may know him better as Big Merica. Justin is here. Justin, say hello.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me on, Tony.
Oh, man, I'm excited. I've been watching your videos. Anytime one of your videos pops up in my feed, it's a definite stop and watch. I scroll through, everybody scrolls through, and so you scroll past certain things, but anytime I see, and your trucks are pretty iconic. So when I see them, I stop and I watch usually several times over because I'm trying to figure out how in the heck did he do that?
Well, that's awesome. I like to hear that.
So you've been doing, what are your main platforms right now? I know you're on TikTok now, I see. I just joined TikTok. I tried not to, but.
I know. I held off for the longest time, too. And my wife was like, hey, you should put your videos on TikTok. And I was like, whatever. And then I started doing it. And I was like, wow, they're actually taking off. So, okay.
Yeah. When I joined it and your name popped up right away as like you should follow him. And I'm like, okay. And I see you're already at like almost 400,000 followers and 3 million likes and big numbers. Big Merica has big numbers on TikTok already. If you started late, it's cool.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised how fast it took off. I started in April, so really not that long ago. But TikTok, Instagram is like my main two. I do YouTube, just not as much, just because I feel like my videos are just better in short bursts. I have a couple of longer ones, but it just takes more work to edit. So
yeah. And do you like compilation them kind of when you do the longer ones, or
kind of? But so normally I do them all for Reels and TikTok, like up and down. So I have to edit them differently than I do for YouTube because it's more of a wide range. So I ended up having to like redo all the videos and sounds and stuff just to make it wide. So it's just a lot of work.
So that's the thing. That's the iconic part. You said it right there, is the sounds. And everybody I know asks you, how do you do your sounds? And it's literally straight up a lot of work for you.
For the short 15-second videos, it's not bad. Like, okay. It was at the beginning, but I kind of found like a certain few sounds that I just kind of cut, paste, fade into different things to make them kind of, match up to what the truck's doing. So I've gotten pretty good and pretty quick at it. Like I could do a 15-second video in probably like 5 minutes, match up the sounds. But when I first started, it would take me like maybe 20 minutes. And I go back now and I watch some of the early ones. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound very good. So I've gotten better over time.
So before we'll talk about RC stuff for a second, what got you into the hobby? Like, do you have other outside hobbies that kind of drove you to RC, or is it something you've always done?
I've always been into motorsports, dirt bike, mountain biking, extreme type sports. And I just recently got into RC about 2 years ago now, kind of like when the pandemic started. I wanted like a project to work on. So, I was scrolling Instagram before I had my Big Merica page. I was just on my personal Instagram page scrolling, and I saw someone just on like the feed pop up of like a trophy truck. Someone like fabbed the tube chassis, and I was like, hey, that looks pretty cool. That was like a project I'd like to try. And at that time, I didn't really know anything about RCs. So that's when I started doing some research, and I was like, trophy trucks are cool, but I'm more of like I've always been drawn to monster trucks ever since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Monster trucks. I just really like the way, they handle, and like you could do backflips and stuff in a monster truck. You really can't do that with a trophy truck or any type of other off-road vehicle and keep driving. So that's
very much extreme sport kind of motorsports things. Like it does almost like what the motocross can do.
Exactly.
A full-size vehicle.
Yeah, and just the sheer size and weight of them and what they could do in real life is just mind blowing. So that's when I kind of started doing some research, and I was like, okay, that's when I first saw the Axial SMT10. I was like, okay, maybe I could start with this platform, and I have a background in fabrication, machining. I know, how to weld, not great, but I get myself by. So I was like, okay, let's start a project. I got myself an SMT10, got a bunch of tubing and stuff, and I started like doing some research on YouTube. And you were actually one of the first ones that popped up on YouTube when I typed in SMT10 and stuff. So I got a lot of actually tips and ideas from you about how to, do steel gears. And that's when I actually saw, I think you had like a blue Son of a Digger metal chassis that I saw that was, so I was like, okay, that was like the first monster truck kind of tuber that I saw. So that's kind of what got me going in the right direction. And then from there, I just started, I based it pretty much off the SMT10, just like a tube chassis, and had pretty much all the stock parts, except I did put a brushless system in it. And I was just learning along the way because I really didn't know much, right? And that was kind of my first project. And that was before I even started driving and shooting video. I was just like, I just wanted to build like a cool project, right? So I built that one, and it was kind of just like a shelf queen for a while. I was like, okay, this looks cool.
Is that was your Son of a Digger one?
That was actually my my big Merica just steel chassis, the red, white, and blue paint job one. So
you did that before you did the Son of a Digger that looks
super scale. Yeah, that was Son of a Digger was third down the line. Okay. So after I did the first steel chassis, red, white, and blue paint job, big Merica, kind of shelf queen, just to like, oh, this is my first one. It turned out really cool. So I was like, I actually don't really want to drive this one right now. Let me get another SMT10 and build it to be like a, let's drive it hard and see what I could do. Because I started seeing some other people's videos and stuff too. I was like, hey, that looks cool. Like, I want to put my own little twist and see how I could, drive the truck. So I built just a SMT10 stock chassis, put in some beef tubes and some steel gears, brushless system. And that's when I first started to drive. And I was like, okay, this is actually a lot harder than it looks. I just started like filming with my GoPro a little bit. Didn't really know like, angles or how to make the truck look cool. And I posted, that was like right when I started my Big Merica page, and I posted a few videos, no sound, just hitting some jumps and just seeing how the truck reacted. And I was like, I didn't really put in any sounds or anything. I just kind of left it raw. And I felt like something was missing. So that's when I was like, let's see if I can find some actual monster truck sounds to put into it. So I just went on iTunes and I just found the first one I saw, and I put it into iMovie, and I just started like cutting pieces to kind of react how the truck was or whatever moves were going on. And I was like, okay, this actually brings the video to life. Yeah. And then from there, I just kind of kept on building on it and learning how to drive a little better, try different moves, and just kind of keep progressing with time.
So you were the first person that I ever saw do a moonwalk with one.
And that moonwalk was actually with a completely stock SMT10 on no forward reverse moves. That was a bone stock brush system. That was my first one.
Yeah. That's crazy. Because people always ask, do you do forward reverse? And I don't. I find that they don't switch fast, even if you just do forward reverse. It's not instant. Like, the motor's got to come to a point before it'll actually switch into reverse.
Yeah.
At least all the motors I've used.
After I did that one, I think it was like a month later is when I threw in the brush system. It was like a castle system. And then that's when I did do the forward reverse. And that was like a whole nother learning curve because you punch reverse and that thing wants to, you know, do a front flip right away. So you kind of have to be like real gentle on the throttle.
So with the Castle one, if you're driving full speed and you hit reverse, will it just go right into reverse, or does it slow down to a point?
No, it's not like the Spectrum stuff in the Losi, which I found to be perfect. Like I love how it has a little lag where it acts as like a little brake.
Yeah.
And then once it kind of feels safe enough to hit reverse, you go. That's where I found like is my favorite. The Castle system, it's too much. Yeah, it's like you'll land on the nose, and if you hit reverse, that thing just dumps right over. It doesn't have any kind of play.
So with your reaction time being so quick and seeing it, you try and go and it'd be too fast. And
yeah, or else you just barely have to tap it to kind of act as a brake and then just feather it just super light.
Yeah. The only ones I've been able to do or I've done it with is the Spectrum system. So, but I can do it just as easily with it in forward brake reverse mode or forward reverse mode because of that delay. And the, you know, the backflip time is enough that I'm already hitting the brake in the air. Even if it was in reverse mode, I'd be holding it and it would still wait till it hit and the motor had time to not kill itself, I guess is the reason. Not to destroy itself by going immediately to reverse. But so as you. So I got to go shoot the Losi video with the Andersons, and I took your video and I said, we got to do this. Like if we can do this, we need to do it because, you know, it's a son of a digger truck and it needs to,
to do
it, right?
Yeah.
And I swear Ryan Anderson nailed it the third attempt. And I was just like,
you guys are natural.
I've been trying to do this with my SMT 10s and just couldn't do it. And here's the LMT. Third try, he got the right pop and just nailed it. And I was like, okay.
That was before you ever got to drive the Losi?
I didn't drive it till we were done filming.
Okay. So then once you start driving, you're like, oh, okay, this isn't actually, you know, as hard as it is to do on a SMT10 or a platform.
Yeah. So the SMT10, mine always twist when I would backflip them. It'd get a little rotated. And so it was really hard to keep it straight in order to get the pop and stuff that I needed because it was kind of so unsettled in the air, I guess, for backflips. So, and maybe it's because I had lockers and, you know, whatever in certain, I know the one I have locked up makes it really twist.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's, but I'd locked it up so that I could do more saves and stuff like that if I crash. So when we were doing freestyle, if you didn't stay on your wheels, you got one or two wrecks, and then depending on what group you were running with. So I wanted it so I could wheel speed out of it and have some save with the lockers, but then it just screwed up any backflip because it just wanted to torque twist so bad. But the LMT made it way easier.
Yeah, the LMT, that thing's a game changer. It's amazing how much abuse that thing could take. Like I've been running mine hard like ever since they came out. Motors haven't had any issues. Gears haven't had any issues. I think the only issues I've ever had is I broke like a couple rod ends. I didn't even fully break an axle. I like cracked it enough where it started flexing after like 6 months of hard abuse.
Yeah.
And then I had one like lower link where it bolts up to the under part of the axle. Yeah, rip out. But other than that, that thing is just taking it and just, it's amazing.
Yeah. And what you're doing isn't as big a air, but there's a lot of, when you miss a flip,
weird torque, right? Where I look at it, I'm like, ooh, that's going to hurt. That's going to be something. And then it just keeps on driving. I'm like, okay. Yeah.
So, well, because everyone's like was saying how they broke yours or they broke theirs. And I'd been running my stock one that I got from the shoot. Just, I mean, I can't tell you how many thousand flips I'd done with it. You know, trying to perfect the pop for the moonwalk thing so I could almost on command get it. And it was a over and over and over kind of thing. And yeah, it never cracked or broke or anything from that kind of, and there was a lot of weird hits off of trees. And yeah, so I was surprised when everybody just started just destroying axles left and right.
Yeah, that's where I feel like it had to be like a weird batch, or a lot of people were driving it in the cold at that time, so that could have had something to do with it. Yeah, but it's just, yeah, even, you know, with those axle flaws, I just feel like if you were to do that in an SMT10 over and over and over again, after 5 minutes, you would have broke, you know, countless parts where that thing just keeps taking it. So
well, we kept putting beef tubes in and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Try and strengthen them. But yeah, in the end, you know, I'm racing. In fact, just freestyled my race one, which has to be bone stock. It's running version 1 axles and everything still, and it's in great condition. So
yeah,
it depends how you use it, and that's any RC. We can break any of them if we bash them hard enough.
Exactly. Yeah, like some of those people, you know, they're taking them to skate parks on 3 or 4S, and they're like, "Oh, why did my truck break?" So everything has a limit. So
yeah. So what do you think? I mean, what's next that you're trying to accomplish with these trucks? I saw you do like a corkscrew already, where you like jumped into the corkscrew.
Yeah, I don't know. I just always feel like it's cool to do the moves that I would do, kind of one-off moves, like a double backflip, and then I had the double backflip to moonwalk. So, and then like doing the double bounce flips to, you know, another combo. I think it's cool just to keep like trying to do crazy moves and then adding another crazy combo move to it. Just kind of, you know, it's cool to do one thing, but if you could keep it going on to the next, that's really cool.
So the recent sand one, sorry about, I don't know what's going on. My throat's getting all tickled as I'm talking, but you've been doing the sand ones recently, and some of the tricks that you've been able to link, and you're kind of like rolling on your front end and all that different ways, has people like mind blown, wondering how you're getting some of that stuff. I've seen in the comments and all that, and because then you're linking it, you're rolling it into the jumps. And how long and how many takes are you doing to try and get something like that? Or are you just like reacting when that one happens and just you roll from it? Or are you going for that one specific trick?
So 90% of the time I have my mind set on a specific trick, and I'll try it 10 to 20 times until I get it, right? And sometimes I'll get it early, but the truck will kind of land weird, or it won't look 100% scale, and I'm really nitpicky, right? Even though I landed, I'm like, man, it's not good enough. So let me try it another 15 times.
Yeah.
So there's every once in a while the truck will do something I'm not expecting, and I just kind of roll with it, and it looks cool. But I would say at least 90% of the time, the stuff you see is like, I have my mind set on getting that trick done.
Yeah, because one of them you just recently did it. You ended up in like a sidewall save.
Yeah, see, some of that stuff is not planned. You just got to write it out, and it looks cool.
Well, I mean, that would be in real life too, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
A lot of times they end up in those cool saves, and that's where people go nuts. Is in that save moment. But what's your favorite trick or combo of tricks that you're doing right now?
I have 3 that are pretty fun. Well, the very first, like originally backflip to moonwalks, that was like my favorite thing, just because, you know, something you can't do every time, you know, and they all kind of, no matter how many times you do it, the truck always reacts a little different. But now I really like doing the backflip to moonwalks where you hit another ramp behind it and you roll right into a front flip. So that one's top 3. Another one I like doing is like rolling up to a jump in reverse, kind of rolling it up on the back wheels, balancing, and then gassing it into a backflip forward momentum. That's another one I really like doing. What else? I really like doing the ones where you just under rotate a backflip too, and then it pops into another backflip. Those ones are fun to do. I don't know. I just feel like there's so many different moves and combos that are just still to be done.
So what do you want next for like the big Merica brand? Like what kind of goals do you have? I mean, it's growing like crazy on Instagram and TikTok, and I think most people, everybody I ask or I talk to about RC and monster trucks in general, I'm like, hey, have you seen big Merica stuff? And I'm like, I don't think so. And I show them the truck, and there I was like, oh yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah,
so
if they know the brand or not, or the name, it's like
they recognize the truck immediately, or the locations where you are. They've seen what you're doing.
Yeah,
and it may be reposted by somebody who but so they've seen your stuff. So, but what are you thinking is next? Where are you going with it?
Yeah, I really like doing like builds and fab work too. I was doing a lot of that at my dad's shop, but unfortunately they moved, so I kind of don't have my fab area that I was using to make some of my trucks right now. So down the road, when I have a shop to work in again, I'd like to do some more tube chassis and stuff. But as far as what's coming up next in the near future, just cool new moves. I got a guy working on like a custom Big Merica wrap that's looking pretty sweet. That I'll probably show early next year.
Okay.
So that'll be pretty cool to finally like not just have a sticker on the side of the truck, to actually have like a full
wrap.
Merica wrap. Yeah. So that's coming.
Now, are you working with somebody that does them for like full scales?
So the guy's Instagram is like Jam. Let's see, what's his name? Let me give him the proper Jam Customs Official. I don't know if you've seen him on Instagram. He does like a lot of like he'll take trucks and he'll put his own little twist on them. He does really good artwork. So awesome. If you haven't checked him out, I definitely check out Jam Customs Official. But I'm pretty sure he's done some wraps for full-size trucks also, like Wildside, and some of the overboard guys.
Okay.
So, me and him just kind of been spitballing back some ideas on, what we could do for my little RC. That should be cool coming up. What
I think is always funny is how many people think yours is real.
Oh, yeah.
Comments, right?
Probably 75% of my people following me think it's a real truck.
Right.
I even had
and they're like CGI or like that.
Even a lot of people hit me up and they're like, they want me to do like a video shoot, bring my truck out to this place, or a commercial. I'm like, hey guys, before you go any further, this is a RC truck. And they're like, oh, really? Like, you had me fooled. Even Travis Pastrana, he started following me on Instagram a couple weeks ago, and he commented on one of my videos. And then I saw him actually yesterday at a rallycross.
Picture,
at a rallycross race. And I started talking to him. I was like, hey, you just started following me on Big Merica. And he's like, oh, no way, you're Big Merica. And he's like, not going to lie, the first few videos, I thought it was a real truck. And then I figured it out. And I was like, oh, man, I had Travis Pastrana fooled. And he said, hey.
I was thinking, like, this dude is nuts.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, man, we got to get him, like, in a Nitro Circus video or Gymkhana or something. And then he's like, still enjoy watching the videos. But
that's awesome. So, well, he plays around with some RC trucks. I've seen him at his.
Yeah, he's got some Praxis stuff going on. So
X Maxes and
Yeah, so
a lot of the guys do, man. So we were just at the Hall Brothers shop in Illinois, and they had a whole bunch of RC stuff in there too. Like, we were just kind of looking at their trucks and walking around. There's literally the race was inside their shop.
Yeah, I saw some footage of that. Yeah, it looked like a good time.
It was awesome, and we saw like some, short course trucks in there, trophy trucks and stuff in there. Mm-hmm. So they're playing with the toys as well. It's all
Yeah, no matter what, if you have the full size thing, it's still fun to play in the small scale.
Yeah, and it's just even for them, it's just playing around, right? So much of all of like what their life is kind of a big fun playtime. So a lot of work, a lot of hard work. People don't get that side of it.
Yeah,
driving the trucks places, doing all the work on it that they got to do.
It's
not all fun and games. And
no, you get that a couple hours of fame, right? But all the behind the scenes work that actually goes into it is just nuts.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. What do you hope to see from the RC side of things? Do you hope there's more developments? Are you trying to, I want to talk about your chassis, your custom one in a minute, but like from the industry, what kind of stuff would you like to see more of or have come out? Or
I really like, what Losi did. Kind of up in what Axial did with their platform. So I still feel like there's room for improvement in the future, but putting beefed up drivetrains and links and stuff where it could take abuse and still look like a scale monster truck. I'd like to see more aftermarket cages available. Just because I'm all about keeping stuff scale. That's what I'm all about. So just seeing some more of that type of stuff out there would be cool.
I think my favorite thing about the Losi is the way that it moves, because it looks so realistic in the way that the weight shifts.
Definitely.
And I think that's probably what your body's had going for it too, because you had metal cages and everybody's like trying to shed weight. And I'm like, dude, this is what makes the suspension work and
I do
look
the opposite.
good.
Yeah, I'm adding more weight. And when you have the right kind of slow video where it's not overly slowed down, but it's not full speed, the weight shifting and the way the truck lands, it looks so real. That's where I think that combined with some sounds just blows people's minds.
Yeah. So let's talk about your build. I've seen, again, I read a lot of your comments and stuff. I'm not much of a commenter on anything. I don't know why. I feel like my opinion or whatever, it doesn't, like everybody's already said what I would say, or, so a lot of times I'll watch and I'll read and usually a lot of times if I reply in comments, I'm replying to somebody else that's commented. But I see a lot of people want you to build cages or know if you build cages and all of that. But just talk about some of what went in, because you've built a couple now, and I don't think you even drove your Losi before you finished. Did you drive it before you?
I bought it was the very first day they were available at the local hobby shop by me. Went in there, bought the ready to run Gravedigger, got it home, stripped it all apart.
Yeah.
Never drove
it up, right?
Yeah, I was like, okay, let's get to the project. And that I had like a vision in my mind, what I wanted to do. I like doing things different than a lot of people do, stand out. And so I decided to do like a Rockstar style chassis from Straight Up Racing. I had a vision of like, if I chop the Losi frame right here and I built on top of it and I sit it low, it'll look pretty legit.
Yeah.
Well, I went full steam ahead. I think it took me about a month and a half to get it all wrapped up. I think it turned out really good. I really like that truck because I don't have to cut bodies or do anything on it. I just freaking bash that thing and it just takes it.
Yeah.
And, that thing I put Trial aluminum axles on it. So that thing is just a metal bulletproof beast. It just takes hits and I really don't have to do anything to that thing. It's so reliable.
Yeah, and it looks really good.
Yeah,
it looks really good.
It surpassed kind of my vision. I think it looks really cool in videos, just the way it kind of lands. You can see the suspension work, especially with the limiting straps and stuff. And it stands out, right, in videos,
just the cage, the shape of the cage that you've done, like the way that the rear and, almost comes straight off the cab part.
Yeah.
It just looks super cool.
It looks cool, but for wheelies, there's no wheelie bar, so you can't ride wheelies. But it works out good for like mini backflips because nothing catches. So that thing will just freaking spin low.
I forgot about that. I was just doing a race and I went to do it backwards into the ramp and I totally just smashed the wheelie bar because my race one still has a wheelie bar on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it definitely helps when you're going in reverse.
Yeah. And then even for moonwalks, it's a little harder because in my other Losi, where I just have the C10 body. It'll catch just right, and then you could ride it a little longer. But in the other one, it'll
rotate.
catch before it goes over, but it's a lot harder to you can't really ride it on the nose. It'll
The
catch
nose is in, it's tucked in more.
Yeah. So
by the time it's hitting there, you're probably, if you have any
when it
speed,
catches me,
will.
it takes me down. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that one, it gives you more opportunity to ride it without catching anything, where it looks pretty cool. So
Yeah, like my POS SUD is what we call it. The whole front end is gone. That's anybody that has one and does them, there's no front end left on the truck.
Yeah.
It's got a plastic body.
Yeah.
Yours probably it has a shorter, that C10, so it probably doesn't catch as bad, but that
the front of that
really
body,
rips under.
I feel like fits on that, stock chassis just right. Well, yeah, for the lower plates, I didn't have to cut anything. I'm running a different plastic kind of. I took off the plastic roll cage because it sits so high for regular stock bodies, and I made my own where it's lower.
Yeah.
So that's why my bodies kind of sit lower on the frame than a lot of the other trucks you see just sky high.
So even your gray big Merica one has a custom.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
This is small where the roll cage is. You had to keep it lower.
Okay. And to protect the body if you land on the top.
Yeah. So it just doesn't smash down on the body, and it kind of has the roll. Yeah, it keeps it all kind of scale looking.
But it fits within the wings of the cage. You still have those full.
Yeah. Those are untouched.
Okay. It looks awesome. I had no idea that wasn't the plastic cage.
Yeah.
From the LMT. Did you show a build on that one?
What's that?
Did you show a build on that one too?
I don't think I showed any build progress. I just showed when the truck was done.
Okay. And I just wasn't cluing into the change. That's awesome. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, I think it's like the cage sits about a 1/2 inch to a 3/4 of an inch, maybe lower than the stock cage. I think that, they have the cage set so high just because those Gravedigger and Son of a Digger bodies are just so big. But when you put the smaller bodies on, they look kind of disproportional a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's the one thing for me. The bodies, and I feel like so many bodies on all of the monster trucks that we've done are like so close, but not quite the right size, like too small. Now these ones feel like they're maybe just a bit too big, and too wide for sure. But that's one thing I'd love to see, and I don't even know what it is to get it right, but
I know. Because I feel like there's some cool crawler bodies out there, but then they're just wide. They're almost like the Losi Son of a Digger, Gravedigger width. And then, you get some bodies that are just too skinny or too short. Like even those J concepts, like the Son of a Big Digger type J concept body, like that's pretty short. So they got to find that sweet happy medium.
Yeah, and that one looks pretty decent on an SMT10.
Yeah, but you throw it on a Losi and it just feels small.
Yeah, which is weird because when you literally put the wheels side to side,
they're the same wheel size. Yeah.
The rest of the cage underneath it just makes it feel bigger, I guess.
Yeah.
It's an interesting how it all works. But I don't know if you've tried it at all, but I'm starting to get into the little micro ones because where we just moved to, it gets cold. So
yeah, that's cool. I've been seeing some of that, and that looks pretty sweet. It just blows my mind, just how one of those small little things could almost be as much as a ready to run Losi. So
I have $600 into my one that I just did. That was the carbon fiber one.
They look awesome. That's for sure.
Yeah. But they don't handle like a $600 truck. It's just that you can use it indoors, and it's just like anything.
Yeah.
When you have to buy parts one off, it just gets expensive.
Yeah. That's the thing about doing things custom, right? They're cool because they're one-off, so there's not another one like it, but you got a price to it. So
yeah. So yours, you basically underneath your big Merica one that was an LMT. That thing's pretty much a stock truck, or I mean, you changed the cage and you changed the tires. I've seen.
yeah, so the one that I did the tube chassis for the Rockstar style chassis.
Yep.
I put
Now, do you number yours like number 1, number 2, number 3, like the trucks do?
No, not really.
Okay. Chassis 1, 2, 3.
So right now, I just have my 2 SMT10s and I got my 2 LMT10s. My LMTs, I got my C10, I got my Rockstar style chassis. That's just kind of how I base it off that. So for my Rockstar style one, it's pretty much stock. At least all the internals, motor, and all that. The only real aftermarket stuff I have on it is J Concepts wheels and tires, Freestyle RC wheel adapters. And then I cut down the frame just right after the shock mounts. And then just wrap the cage around it. And then I ran it with the stock axles for probably 3 or 4 months. And I had some trails just waiting around. I was waiting for the axles to break and they weren't breaking. So then I eventually just threw on the trail axles. So,
but shocks are the same.
Shocks are the same. They've been blown for a while, but it still works fine.
I feel like they run better blown. Like mine, I took off my sway bars on my freestyle one because it just upsets better. Like
same, on that on both my trucks actually. The sway bars broke pretty early, or at least one of them did. And once the first one broke off, I just took them all off. And I like the way it gets loose. It doesn't get like aggressively or like overly leaning or wheels up in the air. I feel like it still holds it pretty tight.
Realistic though, too. That like a bicycle, like if you watch Ryan's truck, how that front.
Even though they have sway bars, their truck still it still rocks them. So it looks good.
I'd noticed that on yours. I'm like, and I was watching you when you got on the side wheels. I'm like, that looks way more scale. And so I ended up on the last RC Amigos one. I broke all the sway bars and just took them off. Like,
and it's one less part to worry about, right? That's what I like.
Yeah, that's true. But because of the side motor, it doesn't.
Yeah, I think that really helps too. Yeah, the way the motor's positioning, you don't get that torque twist really.
So, well, Justin, I don't want to take too much of your time. Thanks for fighting through some of the audio glitches and technical glitches of the software. But it's been awesome talking with you.
Yeah,
and I'll have to have you back on sometime because I still have more things I'm curious about, and I'm sure a bunch of other people do as well.
Definitely.
But is there anything on before we go that I didn't ask that you want to make sure people do know, or any thoughts that you have on the way out?
No, I think you covered all the basics and everything that's kind of going on.
Right.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, appreciate you having me on, and getting to talk about all the good stuff.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, man. And everybody, thank you for tuning in for another episode of While My Battery's Charged. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Later.